Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Dylan here. We have a major bombshell alert today about Senator Adam Schiff in California. He's getting caught big time and exposed, and now the truth is coming out about Adam Schiff, and people are pointing the finger at him. Caroline Leavitt just called him out about his hateful rhetoric towards President Trump while we witness this latest assassination attempt on Donald Trump, the sitting president, that Adam Schiff obviously doesn't like. So we're gonna dive in, but before we do, we're gonna read scripture and pray because God comes first, amen? Comment the word amen in the comment section if you believe that God comes first in your life. And without faith, it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. Amen. That's from Hebrews 11:6. And let's pray that all of us continue to seek God, even in the most difficult moments in our life. And my brothers and sisters, congratulations to everyone who has begun investing in the stock market under President Trump. The stock market has been absolutely soaring under the leadership of Donald Trump. We now have a totally free offer linked below, or if you're watching this on your TV, you can take out your phone and scan this QR code. And I also created a free investing tutorial for you to watch as well. And don't worry, you don't need a lot of money to get started. You could literally get started with just a couple bucks. Okay, so here's Caroline Leavitt. She just called out Adam Schiff. Let's tune in, my friends.
It's not just the media, it is the entire Democrat Party has made their pitch to voters across the country that Donald Trump poses an existential threat to democracy, that he is a fascist, and that they compare him to Hitler. I mean, these are despicable statements that the American people have been consuming for years, and so many mentally perturbed individuals are led to believe these words are truth and then are inspired to act on it. I have a whole host of examples that we can share with you after. It is pages and pages of major Democrat Party elected officials saying, such as Rep. Hakeem Jeffries just this month said, "We are in an era of maximum warfare everywhere all the time." Governor Josh Shapiro said heads need to roll within the administration. Senator Alex Padilla said people are, quote, dying because of fear and terror caused by the Trump administration. Senator Elizabeth Warren, President Trump is making the country look like a, quote, fascist state. Senator Adam Schiff saying President Trump using a dictator playbook. Senator Ed Markey calling President Trump a dictator, saying that this administration's actions are authoritarianism on steroids. Governor J.B. Pritzker, never before in my life have I called for mass protest disruptions. These Republicans cannot know a moment of peace. You have Rep. Presley saying, "We'll see you in the streets." Rep. Monica McIver, a Democrat representative on Capitol Hill, "We will not take this shit from Donald Trump. He thinks he's a dictator. We are at war." These are Democrat elected officials calling for war against the President of the United States and his supporters. I could go on and on, but again, when you have people in positions of power that are saying things like this every single day for years, you are inspiring violence by people who are already mentally ill. And that's what we've seen against this president for far too long.
Wow, how crazy is that? Adam Schiff, he's getting called out big time by Caroline Leavitt because look at what he said. He said Trump can kill opponents with immunity. He's literally coming out talking trash about President Trump. And it's just like, how is he getting away with this? It's hard to make this stuff up. Adam Schiff is upset that taxpayer resources are being spent by the Department of Justice on investigations that he does not like. Take a listen.
These kind of abuses mean that the department isn't going after oil companies that are price gouging. It's not going after companies that are abusing consumers. It's not protecting us from monopolistic conduct in the market. It is instead focused on the president's agenda of retribution. And that's a terrible use of resources and a terrible precedent to set. These kind of abuses mean...
How crazy is that? People are calling for Adam Schiff to be arrested, my friends, because he literally has come out and said so much stuff about Donald Trump time and time and time again. And now that we have Tulsi Gabbard coming out and really leading this whole investigation with Russia again, take a look at what she just came out and said about the Russia stuff and Adam Schiff.
that doesn't just affect Democrats or Republicans. It's not a Democrat or Republican issue. This is an issue with such significant impact that it should concern every American, because it has to do with the fabric and integrity of our democratic republic. That we had a situation here where in the months leading up to the 2016 election, the intelligence community assessed, and this is what the documents detail, the intelligence community assessed essentially Russia doesn't have the tools, the capability, or the intent to try to change the outcome of the U.S. presidential election.
And Adam Schiff was coming out and saying this stuff about Donald Trump and Russia. Take a listen here.
The president has balked at Congress looking into his personal business, something he's tried to draw a red line around. But we have seen from our own investigation, as well as the special counsel's, just how perilous it would be for the country if we ignored or allowed him to draw red lines. The Moscow-Trump Tower deal, for example, is among the most disturbing, because that's something the president was pursuing throughout the midst of the presidential campaign, while saying he was having no business dealings with the Russians. That was a deal that stood to make him more money than any other deal in his life.
And he was going on and on and on about Trump and Russia, and look at Tulsi Gabbard just came out and called out Adam Schiff, guys.
It is always the right time to expose the truth to the American people about the deep state tactics that have been used time and time again, fundamentally to undermine the foundational principles of our republic, and in so many cases to undermine the decisions that the American people make when they cast their votes in our elections to decide who they want to lead our country. And so the documents that we released really pointed to the fact that the 2019 impeachment occurred because there were members of the intelligence community working directly with House Democrats, specifically Adam Schiff, who's on the House Intelligence Committee at the time, concocting this narrative, weaponizing the whistleblower process, lying and abusing their power, all to create this manufactured basis that Nancy Pelosi then used to drive this impeachment against Donald Trump in 2019.
So should Adam Schiff be held accountable for this stuff? Because remember, Adam Schiff, Gavin Newsom came out and slammed Trump here.
This guy ran on a platform of bringing down the cost of the American people, and he's a failure. He's a failure. Costs continue to rise, but take solace in this. As you, the American people, are paying more and more for your everyday lives, Donald Trump's economy is going great. His personal economy is great. He's building a $200 million ballroom for himself. He just got his third Air Force One. He's making more money for...
The ballroom's not for himself, buddy. It's probably not even going to be done by the time Trump is still in office. And, you know, if the ballroom would have been done, maybe Trump wouldn't have almost been assassinated, because they could actually host the White House Correspondents' Dinner in the freaking ballroom that they don't even have. And remember when Bill Maher, because Adam Schiff talks so much crap on Trump going after Iran, which Democrats have wanted to do, take a look at what Bill Maher said to Adam Schiff to his face and called him out. And the whole crowd erupted. Listen.
This statement from the administration: the president had the constitutional authority to direct the use of military force because he could reasonably determine that such use of force was in the national interest. That's too vague for you?
Totally vague.
Okay, because that's from Obama about Libya.
Well, Obama made the argument initially that he could go into Syria without an authorization. I and many others pushed back on that argument. Ultimately,
so he thought that statement was from Trump, when in reality it was from Obama. But I'm glad that Trump actually slammed Adam Schiff here, guys.
And Adam Schiff looks very serious. Look, he's a sleazeball. Everybody knows it. And I was a little surprised. I thought he would have covered his bases a little bit better than that. Adam Schiff is a lowlife. He deserves what he gets.
All right, so President Trump just came out to address the nation. Let's tune in.
I thought we'd be down maybe 20%, and we're up. The stock market's higher now than when we started this war. And I thought oil prices would go to $200, $250. It's at $100 now. And I think you're surprised, and I'm surprised. But even if it went to 200, it would have been worth it. I understood that. We had just set a record.
How amazing is that, my friends? The stock market is soaring under President Trump. If you want to learn how to begin investing, we have a totally free offer right now. You can click the link below, or if you're watching this on your TV, you can take out your phone and scan that QR code. Just download the app. It's totally free to get started. It's never too late, and who knows, maybe you can even learn so you can help your children or your grandchildren as well. Personally, I started investing, and now my investments are up over $60,000. One of you guys even messaged me saying that you're up over $13,000. I believe this is the best time to start investing while Trump is president because he's the best leader, and the stock market has been hitting record numbers under his leadership. So don't let this opportunity pass you by. Take it as your sign. It's totally free, and I break it down easy for you. I even have a free tutorial that I created just for you. It's all in the description box or pinned in the comments. Take a listen to this, guys. Anna Paulina Luna calling out Schiff. Big time. She exposed him to the world.
I yield myself such time as I may consume. Americans do not trust Congress. From the highest levels of office, an elected member of this body enabled the fraudulent spending of $32 million out of the pockets of our American people and threw it down the drain to knowingly chase ghosts, all for political gain. This man occupied a position of the highest trust and authority. As chair of the House Intelligence Committee, Adam Schiff launched an all-out political campaign built on baseless distortions against a sitting U.S. president at the expense of every single citizen in this country and the honor of the House of Representatives. With access to sensitive information unavailable to most members of Congress and certainly not accessible to the American people, Schiff abused his privileges claiming to know the truth, while leaving Americans in the dark about this web of lies. Lies so severe that they altered the course of the country forever. The lie that
Gentlelady will suspend. The House is not in order. Members, please take your conversations off the floor.
The lie that President Donald Trump colluded with Russia to steal the 2016 presidential election, revealed to be completely false by numerous investigations, including the Durham report. The lie that the Steele dossier, a folder of falsified and since completely debunked collusions, accusations funded by the Democrat Party, had any shred of credibility. Yet Schiff read it into congressional record as fact. Lies concocted and compiled in a false memo that was used to lie to the FISA court to precipitate domestic spying on U.S. citizen Carter Page, violating American civil liberties. Not only was this egregious abuse of Schiff's privileged access to classified information, but this memo was littered with 17 major mistakes and omissions. The groundless memo violated Carter Page's civil liberties, publicly assassinated his character, and subjected him to multiple abusive, unlawful investigations. Mr. Schiff exploited his position as chair of Intel Committee and every opportunity possible, threatening national security, undermining our duly elected president, and bringing dishonor upon the institution. Perhaps most unforgivable, Schiff ripped apart American families across the country with repeated false narratives. His own political good was served by permanently destroying family relationships and sowing lasting division across our land, which we live with every single day. The perpetrator of this web of deceit became mainstays on cable news, waking up every morning with one goal: to lie to the American people that there was a direct evidence of Russia collusion. Despite transcripts from Schiff's investigation showing that the Director of National Intelligence, former Obama Attorney General, and FBI Director, to name a few, went on record telling Schiff's committee that there was no direct evidence for his criminal conspiracy. Yet to this day, Schiff actively fundraises off of his exploitation of Americans as if robbing them from the truth and $32 million in taxpayer dollars was not enough. Can anyone in this chamber comprehend this list of crimes and yet somehow believe that there should not be an answer for it? This is not a partisan act. This is not a conservative versus liberal vote. This is a clear vote between right and wrong, and I urge you to do the right thing. I will end with repeating with what I started with. The American people do not trust Congress. The cyclical pattern of lies has worn down the credibility of every institution and every official in the United States government. You see it, I see it. If we run away from this opportunity to hold this man accountable, there is only one fault, and that is of ourselves. We will betray the people who trusted us and sent us here to do the right thing. We will be responsible for the end of any shred of justice in this body, and we will reject the duty that we swore an oath to protect upon taking office. I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentlewoman reserves. Gentleman.
And it's kind of crazy because now Adam Schiff is complaining about Trump, saying that, look, Trump's war, he's calling it an illegal Iran war. Schiff debunks claim that the war is over. He's calling it an illegal war.
Deplete us of revenue to fix our roads. But really the best remedy to bring down gas prices is to bring this illegal war to an end. And I don't think anything short of that is really going to make a demonstrable impact on price at the pump. The way prices are going up and the speed they're going up, it would very quickly eat up any savings from suspending the gas tax. But I'd be willing to...
And then he's talking about James Comey and that threat to Trump.
And that's, in addition to ending this war, I think the kind of steps we need to take.
Let me ask you about former FBI Director James Comey, indicted, of course, over that social media post, which federal prosecutors say was a threat to harm President Trump. You just heard my conversation with Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche about this. You have called the case, quote, a vindictive prosecution. But a grand jury did sign off on the case. Are you saying that you do not have faith in that grand jury?
Look, as one judge notably said, a skilled prosecutor can indict a ham sandwich. The prosecutor gets to show the grand jury what it wants to show the grand jury. It is not, the grand jury doesn't get to see a lot of the exculpatory evidence, doesn't have independent legal experts to talk about how frivolous this case is.
Look at this. Adam Schiff talking about ICE.
Right up to Election Day. And you already have people saying that we promise on the Republican side that they're going to call out ICE to polling places. Here's what Steve Bannon had to say on that.
You're damn right. We're going to have ICE surround the polls come November. We're not going to...
Why is that even an issue, though? Like, that's what I don't understand. Why should ICE not be there?
They hope to accomplish with Steve Bannon's threats about having ICE at polling places is they so want to persuade the American people that they will not let Democrats succeed in an election, so you might as well just give up. You might as well not even go to the polls. You might as well not even bother to try to vote.
Why is also Adam Schiff even talking about Steve Bannon? Steve Bannon, he has no role in ICE at all. Why is Adam Schiff even talking about Steve Bannon?
This is part of their voter suppression. And we have to use all of these illegitimate mechanisms that they're trying to employ as just further motivation to make sure that all voters turn out, that we turn out the most massive numbers possible. That is the best remedy for their disenfranchisement efforts.
Yeah, Adam Schiff, that worked really well when you guys all tried to come out and vote for Kamala. Yeah, how did that work last time, buddy?
Stayed about the same. Also, how...
And here's Adam Schiff, who, he's in California senator, and California is kind of going down the toilet right now. And somebody asked, basically, hey, what about ICE going on in California?
Is California working to protect its citizens from ICE? Thank you.
Why would a citizen need to be protected from ICE? ICE doesn't go after citizens.
So, Jude, it just so happens that there's been an analysis of ICE arrests in Los Angeles just within the last week. And not surprisingly, because I think we see this on the ground, ICE arrests in Los Angeles have gone down dramatically from Trump's first year in office.
Maybe because they've already arrested a lot.
You'll remember in that first year, he mobilized and abused the National Guard, even deployed U.S. Marines to Los Angeles in a terrible and unnecessary show of force. But nevertheless, they were carrying out a lot of indiscriminate raids and doing a lot of harm. They still are, but the numbers are very significantly less now. And I'm glad for that, but it's still far too prevalent. These raids continue to go on. They're going after people who served in the military and their spouses. They're now even going after naturalized citizens. And for the most part, the people they're arresting and detaining have never committed a crime apart from being in the country undocumented. Alex Padilla and I visited one of the detention centers, and this gets to the next question. Can you speak to how often you and Senator Padilla are visiting ICE facilities in California and what you are hearing about how long people are being detained and the conditions? So Senator Padilla and I visited the largest detention center just a few months ago in California City. It houses about 1,400 to 1,500 detainees. They told us they want to get up to 2,500 detainees. And this place, let's face it, it's a prison. They can call it whatever they want, but it's a prison. In fact, it had been a prison. In terms of the conditions there, we had to give advance notice because otherwise they wouldn't let us in. That's a violation of a different law and regulation. But nevertheless, we wanted to get in to visit people in that detention center. I'd gotten a number of complaints from my...
Why is Adam Schiff going to ICE facilities? Isn't that kind of weird? I mean, it should be like frowned upon at least to go on TV and say that Trump's dealing with Iran is almost comedic. It's like when you're talking trash on Trump in the middle of this war, you're kind of saying that like you're not on Trump's side, Like, why are you saying, oh, this was comedic? Now, President Trump just came out to address the nation. Let's listen in.
We have the highest stock market in the history of our country by far, every single month. That's another thing you should camp. They like to demean that. The Democrats, well, that doesn't mean anything. That's just, no. That means jobs, and it means 401ks.
If you want to learn how to begin investing, we have a totally free offer right now. You can click the link below, or if you're watching this on your TV, you can take out your phone and scan that QR code. Just download the app. It's totally free to get started. It's never too late, and who knows, maybe you can even learn so you can help your children or your grandchildren as well. Personally, I started investing, and now my investments are up over $60,000. One of you guys even messaged me saying that you're up over $13,000. I believe this is the best time to start investing while Trump is president because he's the best leader and the stock market has been hitting record numbers under his leadership. So don't let this opportunity pass you by. Take it as your sign. It's totally free and I break it down easy for you. I even have a free tutorial that I created just for you. It's all in the description box or pinned in the comments.
But what I found most, almost comedic about this is Trump trying to distinguish what he was trying to negotiate with the Iranians from what Obama did with the JCPOA in saying something along the lines of, oh, no, this is very different because now we're getting an ironclad promise from Iran that they won't develop the bomb. Oh, okay. Well, if Iran's willing to make a promise now, I guess that is very different. You can see the president is looking for anything that he can declare victory with and somehow persuade the country that it's better than the agreement he tore up. But again, I think the principal challenge here is the president doesn't have the patience for diplomacy. He doesn't.
Dude. This guy is a level 100 complainer. Trump is doing everything he can to save the world, and all you can do is talk trash on him on this stupid MS Now show. What a joke of a guy he is. But Trump really exposed the truth about him big time, and I wanted to play this because it really paints the nail, hits the nail on the head with what Trump says about Schiff, guys. Take a listen.
And that's with all of the difficulties and all of the fake investigations and the Adam Shifty Schiffs. Can you believe this guy? He's got the smallest neck I've ever seen. And the biggest head. We call him watermelon head. I'd say, how could that big fat face stand on a neck that looked like this finger? How can it? It was the weirdest thing. It's a mystery. Nobody can understand it. But he's one of the most dishonest human beings I've ever seen. And, how we can allow people like that to run an office is a shame, but we did. He was in charge of the witch hunt. He was in charge of the fake witch hunt with Russia. It was a made-up story. Made up. Think of it. They make up a story. They know it's made up. It's gone on for a year and a half, 2 years. Russia. I knew nothing about it. The only thing I knew was that I taxed the pipeline that I told you about, that I put all sorts of sanctions and everything else. They never had a problem like they had with me. But it was Russia, constant, as a method of, what they did is that was the complaint about why she lost an election, because crooked Hillary was expected to win the election. But they didn't see what we saw. We saw the biggest crowds in history gathering, only superseded by the crowds we just had. But here's a guy that goes out and he goes to an intelligence hearing or whatever you might call it, and it's supposed to be secret. He'd walk out. He'd either make a call off the record, this is crooked Adam Schiff, shifty Schiff. He's a shifty Adam. Or he'd just go out blatantly and have a news conference. And because it had to do with me and my family, he'd go out and have a news conference. And he said, you've got to remember, he knows it's a hoax because he made it up with crooked Hillary. So he knows it's a hoax because we're dealing with human beings on the other side. He'd say, Donald Trump Jr., the son of the President of the United States, will spend many years in prison because of what he's done with Russia. Now, think of that statement on a human basis. I have a son, a young son, who is being told that he's going for prison on something he doesn't even know what they're talking about. He said, Dad, I don't know what's going on. They keep talking about I'm involved with Russia. I don't know anything about Russia, I swear to you, Dad. And yet, Adam Schiff goes out and makes a statement about a hoax that he made up, that he knows is false. How bad a human being do you have to be? They put my son and my family through that kind of trauma. These are bad people. These are sick degenerates. And well, I don't know. It's,
you ordered the DOJ.
I've always been, look, he didn't give himself a pardon. And he didn't give some other people a pardon that needed it. And I heard Schiff went to him and just begged him for a pardon because Schiff is a crook. Yeah. Schiff is a crooked guy. He's a crooked politician. He made up the story about Russia. He totally made it up. He's a storyteller. And then after he made it up, they found out that there was a tape of the conversation made by, I guess, the State Department. I don't know. When you make calls, they make tapes sometimes, not all the time.
He was the one talking to the Russians.
So he, in the meantime, made up the conversation, totally made it up about quid pro quo. There was no quid pro quo, there was a perfect call. Tim Scott was the first one to come. He read it. He said, this is a perfect call. What are you doing? You're impeaching a man for a perfect call. It was Schiff, Hillary, the whole group. You know what? Schiff is just a bad, sick guy. And he went to Biden and he demanded a pardon because he thought he did something. He knew he did something.
Benny Thompson won the chairman of that committee.
Benny Thompson destroyed, along with that unselect committee, destroyed all of the work that took place over 2 years. You know why? It showed that I was right.
He should resign from office in disgrace. And frankly, they should look at him for treason because he is making up the words of the President of the United States. Not only words, but the meaning. And it's a disgrace. It should not be allowed to happen. Well, the whistleblower was very inaccurate. The whistleblower started this whole thing by writing a report on the conversation I had with the President of Ukraine. And the conversation was perfect. It couldn't have been nicer. I saw Rick Scott. I saw many of the senators talking about it, many of the congressmen talking about it. Not a thing wrong. Unless you heard the Adam Schiff version where he made up my conversation. He actually made it up. It should be criminal. It should be treasonous. He made it up, every word of it, made up, and read to Congress as though I said it. And I'll tell you what, he should be forced to resign from Congress. Adam Schiff, he's a lowlife. He should be forced to resign. He took a perfect conversation, realized he couldn't read it to Congress because it was perfect. It was a very nice conversation. I knew many people were on the phone. Not only were many people on the phone, we had stenographers on the phone taking it down word for word. He took that conversation, which was perfect. He said, I can't read this. So he made up a conversation and he reported it and said it to Congress and to the American people. And it was horrible what he said. And that was supposed to be coming from me, but it was all fabricated. He should resign from office in disgrace. And frankly, they should look at him for treason because he is making up the words of the President of the United States. Not only words, but the meaning. And it's a disgrace. It should not be allowed to happen.
Your own DNI said the call transcript
No, he didn't say that. You have to take a look. No, he did not say that. And in fact, if you look at what he said, he found everything to be very normal. He's a good man, and Joe, and he found it to be very normal. I saw Schiff trying to go 15, call him Shifty Schiff. We don't call him Shifty Schiff for nothing. He's a shifty, dishonest guy who, by the way, was critical of one of the great Secretary of States, graduated #1 in his class at West Point, graduated one of the top in his class at Harvard Law School, the most honorable person, Mike Pompeo. And this guy was negative on Mike Pompeo. He can't, there's an expression, he couldn't carry his blank strap. I won't say it because they'll say it was so terrible to say. But that guy couldn't carry his blank strap. You understand that? So you're dealing with bad people. And I watched over the last few days, and I watched some of these other countries build up, and we built up more than anyone because of me. But no help from the Democrats. They're a disaster. Do nothing Democrats. They don't do any work. All they want to do is try and win the election in 2020. So they come up with this impeachment nonsense, and everyone knows. The conversation, all based on one phone call that I had, where I'm talking to the president of Ukraine. You'll hear from our ambassadors. You'll hear from some of the folks that know all about the call, why the call was set up, and everything else. It's perfect. The call was perfect. I learned nothing from Adam Schiff. I think he's a maniac.
What would you want to learn if you testified?
I think Adam Schiff is a deranged human being. We don't get any witnesses. We want Biden. We want the son, Hunter. Where's Hunter? We want the son. We want Schiff. We want to interview these people. Well, they said, no, you can't do it. We can't do it. So when it's fair, it will be fair in the Senate. I would love to have Mike Pompeo. I'd love to have Mick. I'd love to have Rick Perry and many other people testify. But I don't want them to testify when this is a total fix. You know what a fix is? It's a fix. Just think of it. Tomorrow, I don't think anybody's going to watch. I'm not going to watch, but I'm going to be doing this. It's much more exciting. But you know what? Tomorrow, think of it. They get 3 constitutional lawyers and we get 1. That's not even smart because it's not going to matter. And they take 3 and they give us 1. Who ever heard of anything like that? No, but I want them to testify, but I want them to testify in the Senate where they'll get a fair trial.
What do we want to learn from Adam Schiff testimony?
From which?
From Adam Schiff.
I learned nothing from Adam Schiff. I think he's a maniac.
What would you want to learn if you testified?
I think Adam Schiff is a deranged human being. I think he grew up with a complex for lots of reasons that are obvious. I think he's a very sick man, and he lies. Adam Schiff made up my conversation with the president of Ukraine. And one of the reasons people keep talking about it is that's what they saw. We have a perfectly beautiful 3 or 4 page transcription, and then in the other case, a 2-page transcription of the conversation. But a lot of people didn't read that. How many people called you? A friend of mine called up, the top person in New York called up, great friend of mine, very successful. Gee, I didn't like what was said. I said, oh, where did you see it? Did you read it? No, I didn't read it. I heard Adam Schiff give it. I said, well, that's not what was said. And I sent him a copy of what was said. He said, this is great. This isn't what he said. This guy is sick. He made up the conversation. He lied. If he didn't do that in the halls of Congress, he'd be thrown in a jail. But he did it in the halls of Congress, and he's given immunity. This is a sick person. He's a liar. And by the way, Nancy Pelosi knew he was lying, and she went on her show, Stephanopoulos, and she said he told the truth. So she was lying too. These people are deranged. Nobody's ever come up to me and said, it's really important to me that we allow men to play in women's sports. Nobody. Nobody. And yet, it's such a big deal. It's such a big deal.
Wait, so you think the point may be just to destroy, just to break the country?
It could be they hate our country. I mean, they may hate our country. And we deal with real scum. I mean, like a guy like Adam Shifty Schiff. He's a sleazebag. And he's probably going to be a senator, if you can believe it. But I call him Watermelon Head. He has the... No, he's unattractive, both inside and out. That is... No, but this is a really bad guy. This is a dishonest guy. Not a dumb guy at all. He's got the smallest neck I've ever seen on a human being. He will never be a football player, I can tell you. But he's a smart guy, but he's just a sleazebag. You know, there's nothing else you can say.
The United States, as you probably have heard, is doing better than it has ever done in terms of business and investment. The stock market has hit a new high, as you know, and that's for many, many days out of our fairly short 8 months. And we seem to be hitting new highs, and I think we're going to do much better even as time goes by. Jobs are at a record, and most importantly, we have more than $17 trillion. $17 trillion, and this is during an 8-month period.
If you want to learn how to begin investing, we have a totally free offer right now. You can click the link below, or if you're watching this on your TV, you can take out your phone and scan that QR code. Just download the app. It's totally free to get started. It's never too late, and who knows, maybe you can even learn so you can help your children or your grandchildren as well. Personally, I started investing, and now my investments are up over $60,000. One of you guys even messaged me saying that you're up over $13,000. I believe this is the best time to start investing while Trump is president because he's the best leader and the stock market has been hitting record numbers under his leadership. So don't let this opportunity pass you by. Take it as your sign. It's totally free and I break it down easy for you. I even have a free tutorial that I created just for you. It's all in the description box or pinned in the comments.